Hello students, here's a welcome video to introduce you to our lab course, BIO1060, Intro to Biology Lab. If you're in the lecture, you know this might seem a little familiar, but they are separate courses. If you're not in the lecture, then this will all be new to you. So let's start by always looking at the announcements, which are on the home page. Your first order of business is to order your lab pack. Order it as soon as you watch this video if you haven't already done that. It takes a little while for the lab packs to arrive, and I don't have any deadlines in the first week, of course, but I want you to have as much time as possible to work with this lab kit. So essentially how an online lab course works is the lab kit comes in the mail. It has a lab manual that comes with it. The lab manual is loaded into the class. And don't buy the Gunstream manual in the bookstore. You don't need that. There's also no other textbook or anything you need, just this lab kit, okay? Follow these directions right here to order this kit. I think it costs $210. It is a big commitment. I am okay with you sharing a kit with one other student. Don't ask me if you can be a group of 3, 4, or 5 students. You may share your kit with one other student. You can know who's in the course by following the student introductions in the next day or two. But make sure you communicate with me if you are in the class with your roommate or whatever and want to share with a kit with them. You will both be responsible for handing in authentic work. You cannot work together per se on your submission document, but you can complete the lab together. Okay, make sure that you always scroll down because I might have made more than one announcement since you were in class last. So my second announcement here today, I'm helping you do this right now. Going on a tour of the course, okay? Instructor information, here's info about me. Here's a link to my personal website so you can learn more about my research endeavors and my personal work. There's a link to my peer-reviewed publication from my master's work. Now we go to the syllabus. So click here. You should always click depending on what the icon is. If it looks like this little zip drive, that means you can download something by clicking on this. If it's just blue, it's just an item that I've written right into Blackboard. So this is an excerpt from the syllabus, my teaching philosophy, and the student learning outcomes. These are very important. This is what we're going to accomplish in the labs that we will complete in this semester. Then also here you'll see a list of the assignment types. We're going to go through this right now, but these little blurbs will reappear everywhere you find these items in the class. So you really can know what my expectation is and what you're doing and how much of the class course grade that component is. So we will have discussions, we will complete labs, you will take short lab quizzes, and the term project is one lab report. So you'll take a lab submission document you've already written, turn it into a formal lab report. Okay, so let's look over here, lab manual. Here is that little assignment overview blurb again. Make sure you're familiar with that. Then we will go here. This is important information about safety. You need to spend some time going through these documents so that you understand how to keep yourself safe. Doing lab work at home. Nothing is really dangerous, but you have to be clean and organized to keep everyone and all your pets safe. Here's some more support documents. So like if you've never done labs at all, you'll definitely want to be reading this page very carefully. Our microscopes I think are going to be back ordered, but when they do appear, this is directions on how to use them. How to write lab notes, lab reports. I've given you a lot of data on that in the Blackboard shell. Cleanup instructions, resizing images. This is huge. If you take an image on your phone and it's 10 megabytes and then you try to upload it to the Dropbox, that's just not going to work. you're going to have to make your images smaller, and you're going to have to submit images with every single lab submission document to authenticate the work. Show me that you were doing the work and that you were actually doing it, okay? If you don't submit the appropriate images, I won't grade it. And that might be difficult because you might have already thrown away the materials and then you might not be able to recreate the image. So make sure you understand you have to take photos every time you do a lab. How to label an image, how to save things, how to zip files. Okay, now let's go back here, support documents, scroll down. These are worksheets that you'll need for certain labs. And then voila, here's our labs. Okay, so what you'll see is there's that zip drive. Download this. This is a PDF of the lab procedures. So when you get your kit, you'll be like, what do I do with this stuff? You have to come find this document. And that will help you to know what you're going to do with all the stuff to complete the lab. Then at the end of this PDF file, there's this thing called the Lab Report Assistant. I have modified the lab report assistants. Now I call them submission documents because I want you to submit those photos. So really the only difference between what you see at the end of this and my document that I want you to submit is explicit directions on your authentication, the photos that you take when you do your lab report. Okay, notice here's the document attached. Download that, resubmit it by clicking through here to the Dropbox. Okay, and you'll scroll down, you can see all the labs, but I haven't finished producing all of the submission documents. I'll get those up in the next week. Okay, on and on. We will have one term project. It's to write a lab report. So once you do a lab, any lab that you really enjoyed, choose it to be the subject of your lab report. Okay, like it doesn't matter really what lab you choose, whichever one interests you the most. Okay, here's a little information about the peer-reviewed scientific process, which is what we're mimicking with this lab report. You will have to submit a first draft on 11/12. So if you read through the lab list and you see, hey, I think I'm really going to love this lab the most and it's after 11/12, then talk to me. Maybe we could do a switcheroo and you could do that late lab earlier so that you've already done it and you can submit your first draft here. Okay, first draft due. This is a Dropbox. Click on it, and then the final draft due on the last day of the course. Notice that you get credit for planning ahead, 20 points. The final paper is 100 points. Okay, so make sure you don't waste those 20 points and start with an 80%. That would not be good. Okay, we're going to take lab quizzes. Unlike the lecture course, the lab quizzes are here in Blackboard, and they're based on the labs. There's just 3 questions per lab. It's very quick. This first quiz, I think, is only 14 minutes long. So this quiz is really a checkpoint on your knowledge. It's not a summative assessment in the way that we view the quizzes you'll have in the lecture course if you're also in the lecture course. Click on the quiz, you see the information about it. Begin, don't get up and hope to take it again. You only get 1 attempt on the lab quiz. Okay, discussion and send email. Here, your first order of business will be to introduce yourself. This introduction is a little different than the one in the lecture course. We're going to do 2 truths and a lie just to get to know each other. New discussions will open every week, and you'll have to do a pre-lab and have the pre-lab completed by the first discussion deadline. So you'll notice that we have Saturday deadlines for the labs, and I highly recommend you jump right into the next lab on Sunday because that pre-lab is due on Tuesday. Then we can talk until Friday. Then you can do your lab on the weekend or during the week or whatever. But if you don't raise your questions in an early fashion, then you're not going to get them answered because I don't work on the weekends if I can help it. I work from home. I teach all my classes online. And that means that there's no separation between my personal life and my professional life. One thing for me is I don't go into the classroom on Saturday and Sunday. So make sure you've asked me all the questions you need to ask me by Friday. Going into my grades, the important thing here is notice that there are rubrics. There's a discussion rubric, there's a rubric for your lab submission documents, okay? There's a rubric for your lab report. These are contracts between you and me. It helps you to get a successful submission, and it ensures that I am treating you fairly, okay? So make sure you understand what my expectations are by reading the rubric. That's all I have for you. Let me know if you have questions. I'm a compassionate and communicative person. I don't like to be asked I don't like it when students ask me for forgiveness. I like it when they talk to me before deadlines and before problems blow up in their faces. So make sure you communicate with me in a professional and prompt manner. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you.